For the circuit shown below, V1 of t is equal to e power minus t for t greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for t less than 0. If capacitor is initially uncharged, determine the value of V2 of t, dV2 of dt, second derivative of V2 of t and third derivative of V2 of t at t equal to 0 plus. This is the given circuit. Here we can observe that voltage between these two terminals is V1 of t and voltage between these two terminals is V2 of t. It is said that V1 of t value is e power minus t, that is we have V1 of t is equal to e power minus t for t greater than or equal to 0 and its value is 0 for t less than 0. We need to calculate. It is also said that the capacitor is initially uncharged. It means that voltage across capacitor is initially uncharged. That is, we can say that Vc of 0 minus is equal to 0. That is nothing but Vc of 0 plus. Now let me consider the circuit. So here let me assume that current through this branch is say I1. Let current through this branch is I2. Let current through this branch is I3. Since it is V2 of t is voltage between these two nodes, that is nothing but this node and this node voltage is V2 of t itself. That is, this entire node voltage is V2 of t itself. So as I said, Vc of 0 minus is equal to 0, which is also equal to Vc of 0 plus. That is, initially capacitor value is 0, uncharged. It is mentioned in the question itself. So there is no voltage in the circuit. When this is 0, this is short circuited. It means V2 of t, that is nothing but V2 of 0 plus is also equal to 0. So at the beginning, V2 of 0 plus is 0. So thus we found V2 of 0 plus. Now let's try to calculate the first derivative of V2 of t. So here let me apply KCL at this node. That is, now I can say for t greater than or equal to 0 plus, apply KCL to node V2 of t. That is, at this node I can say I1 equal to I2 plus I3. That is, I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. So I1 is nothing but V1 of t minus V2 of t divided by 10 is equal to I2 is nothing but C dV2, that is current through capacitor. That is, current through capacitor is given by C dV2 of t by dt plus I3. Current through this is V2 of t by 20. That is V2 of t by 20. Here it is said that V1 of t is nothing but e power minus t. That is e power minus t minus V2 of t is V2 of t divided by 10 is equal to, so we have C value is 1 over 20, that is 1 by 20 dV2 of t by dt plus V2 of t by 20. Now let's see, let me call it as equation 1. Now let's see the equation 1 at t equal to 0 plus. That is, now at t equal to 0 plus, equation 1 can be written as, so we have e power minus t, that is e power minus 0 minus V2 of 0 plus divided by 10 is equal to, we have 1 over 20 dV2 of 0 plus by dt plus V2 of 0 plus by 20. Let me simplify. We know that e power minus 0 is nothing but 1 v2 of 0 plus. So already we have written v2 of 0 plus is nothing but 0. So this is 1 minus 0 divided by 10 is equal to, here we have 1 by 20. So differentiation of v2. So this term should be kept as it is, that is d v2 of 0 plus by dt plus v2 of 0 plus is 0. This term is 0. Let me simplify. That is 1 over 10 is equal to 1 by 20. We have d v2 of 0 plus by dt. So therefore from this we can write d v2 of 0 plus by dt is equal to, we have 20 by 10 which is equal to 2. So therefore I can write dv2 of 0 plus by dt is equal to 2 volts per second. So this is the first derivative of v2 of 0 plus. So thus we found v2 of t and dv2 of t at t equal to 0 plus. Now we'll try to find d square v2 of t by dt square. So to find d square v2 of t by dt square, we need to differentiate this equation number 1. That is, let me differentiate equation 1. That is, differentiate equation 1. We get, so here we can observe that e power minus t, let me take this one outside, that is I can write 1 by 10 in bracket, differentiation of e power minus t is minus e power minus t. So differentiation of v2 of t is, we have minus dv2 of t by dt, then we have is equal to 1 over 20. So differentiation of this is d square v2 of t by dt square, d square v2 of t by dt square, then we have plus, so differentiation of v2 of t by 20 is dv2 of t by dt into 1 by 20, that is 1 over 20 dv2 of t by dt. So now again at t equal to 0 plus, this equation can be written as 1 over 10. We have minus e power minus 0 minus, we have d v2 of 0 plus by dt is equal to, here we have 1 over 20 d square v2 of t, that is v2 of 0 plus by dt square, plus we have 1 over 20 d v2 of 0 plus by dt. Let me simplify this further. So I can write 1 over 10. So here e power minus 0 is nothing but 1, that is minus 1 minus, so already we have found dv2 of 0 plus by dt, that is nothing but 2. So this is 2 is equal to 1 over 20 into d square v2 of, that is d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square plus 1 over 20 into dv2 of 0 plus is 2. So this is minus 3 by 10 is equal to, here we have 1 over 20 d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square plus, here we have 1 over 10. Or I can simplify this further as, so this can be simplified as, I'll take this 1 by 10 on other side, it will become minus 1 by 10 minus 3 by 10. So this into 20 is equal to, we have d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square, that is d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square. So simplifying this, I can write d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square is equal to, so this is minus 4 by 10, it will into 20, that is minus 8 volts per second square. So this is second derivative of v2 of 0 plus. So thus we found second derivative also. Now we'll try to find third derivative of v2 of t. So now let me call it as equation A. Now let me differentiate equation A, that is differentiating equation A, we get, so that is we have 1 over 10. So differentiation of minus e power minus t is again e power minus t. We have minus, differentiation of this is d square v2 of t by dt square is equal to 1 over 20. We have differentiation of this is d cube v2 of t by dt cube plus 1 over 20. The differentiation of this will be d square v2 of t by dt square. Now again, at t equal to 0 plus, I can represent this equation as 1 over 10, that is e power minus 0 minus d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square is equal to 1 over 20. We have d cube v2 of 0 plus by dt cube plus 1 over 20 d square v2 of 0 plus by dt square. Now let me substitute the values. We have 1 over 10, so this value is 1 minus, so already we have found d square v2 of 0 plus, that is this is d square v2 of 0 plus, its value is minus 8. So this minus and that minus will become plus, is equal to 1 over 20 into, we have minus 8 plus, so this term kept as it is, that is d cube v2 of 0 plus by dt cube plus 1 over 20 into, we have minus 8. Let me simplify. This is 9 by 10 is equal to 1 over 20 d cube v2 of 0 plus by dt cube plus, so this will be minus 8 by 20. So let me simplify this further. That is, I can write d cube v2 of 0 plus by dt cube is equal to, this is 9 by 10 plus 8 by 20, that is 9 by 10 plus 8 by 20. This term is multiplied with 20. Let me simplify. That is d cube v2 of 0 plus by dt cube is equal to, we get 26 volts by second cube. So this is the third derivative of v2 of 0 plus. Thus we found the solution for the given problem. Thank you for watching.